something very different with some very young directors, with some very young, because I really always wanted to change my image. In my career also, when I started, I was being told that I am a chocolate boy, romantic hero. Then I started, in my way, I introduced action in numbers and I started doing a lot of action. Then I started doing comedy. Of course, the director, my friend, Vicky had always given me a lot of challenges from Osho to Joker Bible, of course. So I have been doing this kind of a cinema, but after a certain point when Gautam had approached me for memoirs, and of course Sujit Mukherjee's autograph, and it's from Tony second, they are doing a fantastic role in this film. So then I started doing very different film, and I think in the last 14 years, or rather last 15 years, I have not repeated my character, I can tell you that much. I have not repeated not a certain character which people had seen me earlier and repeating the character, which again I took it as a very, it's a challenge, it's not a very easy work. Because the people who we have been seeing, we have grown seeing that when I come on screen, there will be Siti, there will be Talia. When Viren will come, even he starts talking to the heroine. They know the hero will come, so the clapping starts from that point of time.
That is exactly.
So when I started doing Sheshpata or Munar Manush, first thing with myself, I had to fight this I'm not going to get. This is not my.
This is exactly what I'm
so this is something I have.
The city and the talis, is this literally what the template of a star is, whether you do Hindi cinema or you do Bengali cinema. And in 2024, people like her who are sitting in the front row, and people who are actually involved with the business of filmmaking, they also know that the biggest stars in Bollywood haven't managed to get the audience in. This is really where we are at right now. The discrepancy between what the audience wants. So my question to you is, how does a star, someone like you with the star power that you have, how can you make a difference to get people back into theaters?
Well, I think with time things have changed, because of course star has a power, I believe that. Star has a responsibility also. But if you see 30, 40 years back, the things was different. But with the time, with the new technology, with the exposure to the audience, because 40 years back it was only cinema hall, the only entertainment. Later we got VHS, and it was home theater, then it was cable TV. So then it became television, then serial, then it's OTT. So finally it always comes to the cinema, and I've been waiting for the last 40 years that now cinema is going to die. Cinema will never die. Cinema is a challenge which will always go. But yeah, audience have a lot of other options. Now we don't have one screen, we have a lot of other screens. So entertainment has come to a very different level. So I think now with the stardom or with the, you have to also have a content. You can make a masala film also. You also will have an animal which people will love to come to theatre and watch that. But there are also different cinema which can also be a hit. Like I'm talking about Guj's film. Welfare. That was not animal. But people had also gone to theatre to watch that kind of a cinema. And this cinema is also getting released in a lot of OTT platforms where it's reaching out to a lot of people. So finally, I think for an actor or for a maker, the most important thing, how many people are watching it. So I think now there are a lot of tracks. One film can be super hit in a theatre, maybe another kind of a cinema which is not doing so big in terms of in theatre. But once it comes to other platform like OTT or somewhere, it's reaching out to a lot of people. People are talking about film. That film is getting viral. So even you make a short film today. So my point is, this star they will have their power, but it is just not star. I think today we should always talk about the content also, which is playing a huge big role to Today we are sitting and watching a Korean show, a Malayali show. We do watch. Initially we used to get VHS and watch a good Malayali film or Turkish film or Indian film, but now we do have that exposure. So I think people are now, this generation is also really looking for something very different. Content is becoming very important. So either a star has to be part of that content, or I don't know. I mean, that's the way I think.
Yeah, I think we are also struggling against deficit in attention spans. I think a lot of people here have are sucked into just remaking and also getting into the
And one thing
reels.
I must tell you one thing very clearly. There are a lot of senior people sitting here in front of me. Nobody on this earth can say this film is going to work and this film is not going to work.
I was just
No power can do that. The only cinema which works.
no, I was just
I
going to
think
come to that.
we don't have that power. Nobody.
Nobody has that power, which is otherwise everything would be a hit, right?
It's just like an economy. It's a hero है तो मतलब इतना box office हो जाएगा.
But
That's
again,
kind of a thing. You take Prasenjit, इतना box office तो दे देगा.
Prasenjit इतना box
Nobody can
office,
give a guarantee कि film चलेगी या नहीं चलेगी. That guarantee nobody.
Prasenjit इतना box office दे देगा is the thing that that all your films actually sort of
Suppose some
actually
activity can say
but
there is NG, मतलब minimum guarantee. So we can say that we can give a minimum guarantee. Nothing more than that.
But how many people here would actually say, okay, we are ready to fund a film which is not a Prasenjit film, which actually gives you a character which is very different from what you played before? How many people here will take that risk? Because filmmaking now is such an activity of de-risking. This is a platform for the industry, which is why I'm asking these questions. The value chain, which used to be a very clear, from the production and the distribution and the exhibition, everybody is looking for star power, or they are looking for something which is completely out of the box, and between that falls the audience, which doesn't really find anything to go to. So, how do you overcome that challenge? Where do you get the money from, or where do you get the funding from if you really want to do something out of the box?
Well, if you ask me as an actor, I always believe that
You're a producer too, which is
I
why.
am also a producer, of course. My production house always